Whitney asked for a role on a scripted show, not an audition, not an opportunity. And honestly, I kind of think maybe that it's a smart move. Like, I would like the opportunity to go out for other shows on under the umbrella of ABC and Hulu and Disney or whatever. But a role? Listen, again, audition, fine. Opportunities, fine. Maybe you book the job because of who you are, fine. But to say, I want a role, I want you to put it in this contract for this show here on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. You're going to put in that contract that I have a role on another show that's in a completely different division. Scripted is not the same as unscripted. Just, it's kind of nuts to me. But okay. Anyway, today we're talking about episode 5, and this is when Whitney makes her big return. Never seen anything like her before. But anyways. All right, let's get into episode 5, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, season 3. But before I do that, to make sure you are watching, make sure you are subscribed, following the show. And if you're watching on YouTube, like and comment. There we go. All right, let's do it. All right, cold open. First things first, before the credits roll, Macy, Michaela, and Taylor go to brunch to catch Jesse up on the dad talk meeting. I think Macy and Michaela were a little harsh. I do. I think they were. Macy immediately makes fun of the way Jordan was speaking, saying he was using a church voice and basically like pretending. And then Michaela's like, Jordan was crying and I was holding back laughter. All right. Taylor tries to gently say, look, if the roles were reversed, we would be upset. And then Taylor, in her confessional, Taylor says, something I've learned in therapy is we're supposed to use some logic, not just emotion. We are. Well done. Oh, I haven't done my disclaimer. If you're wondering what's in my mouth, I have a jaw placement device in my mouth. So yes, I do have, if I sound weird, that's why. Sorry. Taylor does say that Jordan seemed to take accountability for being controlling. And Jesse's like, actually, he was, after the barbecue, he put the kids to bed and massaged my feet. But she's like, why wasn't he doing this before? But that's what I'm saying. Maybe that meeting changed him. Maybe hearing the other women say, like, you're not the victim because you also were an asshole. Maybe that woke him up a little. Because like I said, Zach, you're like you said when. So I just recorded episode 4 before I recorded this. So that's why I'm acting like you just heard me say this. But yes. Anyway, Taylor brings all the girls together at a petting farm with baby goats, baby pigs. And I mean, give me that baby goat that was just in Macy's arms. She was just like listening to Taylor talk about how Dancing with the Stars is going to pick one of them this season. And she's just petting this little baby goat. Give it to me. Layla is like, I've been a huge fan of that show. I'm so excited. And then Jen is like, oh, I'm doing it. I don't care if I'm postpartum. Okay. But then Miranda has to let him know, guys, I invited Whitney to my birthday. She says Whitney called and apologized. And they're like, for what? She's like, well, after she left Mom Talk, I was like, you kind of just were ghosted me, basically. And so she called to apologize for that. I bet she did. I bet she called because she's like, all right, Dancing with the Stars is coming up. All right, who is the one person I can get back in with? Miranda. So she made that phone call to Miranda, was like, hey, sorry for ghosting you, but like, I just, was doing whatever. And then she gets invited and then she can have her camera time and then, Jen is bitter because Whitney, in her mind, stopped talking to her after Jen left Mom Talk, after she took her mental health break. And then Whitney went and became friends with Demi, her one true enemy. So she doesn't trust Whitney either. Okay, Michaela goes over to Macy's house, and this is pretty serious stuff. She's having issues. I'm really surprised she's sharing it on the show. I'm actually impressed. But she's having issues in her marriage because she struggles sexually due to her past trauma. She's like no libido at all for a long time. And there's still a lot of anger around sex. uh, because of that abuse. And this is a great conversation. Macy can relate because she also had issues in her marriage, intimacy issues in her marriage due to her past relationship that was abusive, that was horrible. And so she's, just really cool. But I think what Macy did in this scene was great. She didn't give advice. All she kind of said was maybe a new therapist, maybe that. This show definitely does not shy away from tough topics like that. Remember at the reunion, Connor got all the way into what happened to him, and I mean, there was a lot. They talk about it, so that's I respect them for it. All right, Whitney is back in her first confessional, and the producers ask for some of the contract demand allegations. Like, are these true? Oscar tickets, she says, not true. A role on a scripted show? Yep. That's right. A girl knows what she wants. They're like, yeah, we can't do that. We can't give you that. Whitney's having lunch with friends to explain basically why she's filming, because they're like, we know you were mad and you weren't going to be filming, so why are we filming? And she goes, well, you know what? That half-ass mom talk vote that I got pissed me off. I was basically barely voted into mom talk. Now, had we not just seen Miranda go through like needing to get voted back into mom talk, I maybe would have a little bit more of a soft spot for her, but Miranda just stuck it out, did what she had to do. She's like, all right, they'll figure it out eventually. Like, I'm cool. And yeah, Now, had I not just done a rewatch of From the Beginning, seasons 1 and 2, I wouldn't have remembered just like kind of how bad Whitney was. But Whitney really did not do well in a group setting. She struggled a lot, and she left Mom Talk. She left the group chat in the first season, and then she was mad that no one reached out to her to be like, why'd you leave the group chat? She's very manipulative in ways. So when she says things like, I tried really hard to be friends with them and they didn't reciprocate, I'm like, I don't know if I believe that at all. So before they head to LA for press, this is the big thing, the big showdown is going to be with Whitney, and Demi is going to be in LA for press. Well, there's another event with Hydra Jug, which they were not expecting cameras to be filming at because they didn't know Demi was going to be there. But as soon as they see Demi, they all whip out their phones because they are good. Okay. Now, here's what I wish they had done, though. I wish someone had filmed the people filming, because at one point, Demi pulls Layla aside to talk, like right in front of the bar. And there isn't just one close-up shot of this. There are two angles. There's one of Demi and there's one of Layla. And I need to know, how did they get those shots? Because I can tell the ones that are like far away from the grainy footage, but I'm like, there's a clear looking shot that's like right here. So was one of them just like here with their phone? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish someone was filming the people filming, because I need to know. They're having a conversation, and then like one of them comes up and has just like got their phone, like they're like, hello, that's important stuff to know. So Layla goes, how could you do that to your friend? And Demi goes, I found out that my friend fucked the guy. And Layla goes, no, she didn't have sex with him. And Demi's like, oh, yes, she did. Yes, she did. And Layla's like, well, they didn't. And Demi goes, can you prove it? I think Layla's something like that. She goes, there's no way to prove it unless I come back with the lie detector test. Funny you should mention that. Layla straight up says, I'm sticking with Jesse's side. And Demi's like, why do you want to be ignorant? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Okay, you don't need to be so rude about it. Taylor is like, don't worry, guys, I'll go save her. So she heads over there, but Demi keeps going. Demi goes, I just want you to listen to my side, not like, oh, I don't have the full truth, so I'm going to be a dumbass and go lay all my eggs in Jesse's basket. See, like the way you're talking, it's just rude. It's not polite. And so Taylor walks up and just pulls Layla out and goes, don't even entertain this. Layla's like, okay, so Demi says she thinks that you and Marciano had sex, or she knows that you guys had sex. Jesse, boom, sees red. So she sees Demi like mimicking Layla, she thinks. And so she just flips and she's like, fuck you, across the room. And then Demi turns around and she goes, how was fucking Marciano? Twice. And then just, you know nothing about the situation. You know nothing. You know nothing. Taylor's like, chill. Taylor does a really good job in this moment. She did a really good job. She kind of pulls her back. Stay in your power. Stay in your power. She goes, let her look like the idiot. You have all the girls here supporting you. She's going to look stupid. Well done. All right. Miranda's birthday's at a place called Radtag, and I want to go there. That looked fun. I love all the blonde wigs on even the guys because they're all dressed up as Miranda. The guys look good. Like Mason, Chase's brother, he might be better as a blonde. I'm like, this might need to be his look, honestly. But also Mason is there, by the way, Chase's brother. Like, it's very awkward that they're like, what? Is this supposed to be weird? Yes, it is weird. Michaela, though, tells Jace, they go off to the side, that she's booked an EMDR therapy session to work on her trauma. And we get a little insight from Jace, who says it's actually not even just the intimacy. She like struggles to really open up emotionally, too. Now, didn't they meet when she was underage and he was like 21 or something? Didn't someone do the math on that last year or the year before? I swear. Or earlier this year, rather. Wasn't that earlier this year, I guess? Because I'm so used to Bravo shows where you get like a whole year in between a season, but this was only a few months. Right? I just wonder if like there's a reason why maybe Michaela can't get past some stuff, but I don't remember if anyone figured that out or not, and I don't know. So I might just be, but now I can't be making that up. I remember seeing that. Anyway, moving on. Whitney and Connor surprise everyone and show up, and she sits down at the table, and Taylor goes, "I feel like you're known to surprise people at their birthdays." And Whitney says, "I was actually invited to this one." I don't know why that was so funny. Everyone but Jen leaves the table to like they don't want to be near Whitney. So because Jen has some shit to say to Whitney. And so Jen's like, "So where are you with like mom talk and everything?" And Whitney goes, "I mean, I never left. So I just got busy and started doing my own thing." What? Whitney says that Jen came back to mom talk and then pieced out on her, meaning like, well, as soon as you came back to the show, like you stopped talking to me. But Jen's like, no, I feel like that relationship we had was transactional. You were there for me when it was convenient because you wanted to get back into mom talk, but then I didn't go on the trip and I left the show. Whitney goes, "That's delusional." And Jen's like, "But then why would you go be really good friends with Demi?" And Whitney goes, "To be honest, I'm still confused about what she did to you." Okay. So, like, you hate Jen too. Like, I get it. Jen's like, "I expected more from you." And Whitney's like, "Look, I got close with Demi after you ghosted me." Now, is there truth to that, I wonder? Because Jen also kind of ghosted, if you will, on Jesse. Like, when she didn't come back to film the show, or was it Vegas? It was something. Vegas, maybe. I'm trying to remember what season that was. 2? 1? But Jesse said something to her like, "I tried reaching out to you, but you never responded to my text. You never reply. And I was reaching out, trying to check on you." After Vegas, after first season, that's what it was. Because Jen was hurt that they just like ignored her. And Jesse was like, no, I reached out to you. I called you. So I wonder if it's possible that Whitney was still trying to reach out to Jen and Jen didn't reciprocate. But then also to be like, "I got close with Demi because you ghosted me." It doesn't really make sense. Like maybe the answer could have been like, I liked Demi and she's, I don't know. Anyway, Whitney leaves immediately after this conversation anyway. So, but then Taylor's confessional is so ridiculous. "My main goal is to protect mom talk from Whitney." Okay. Mom talk is very important, guys. The next day, they meet at Jesse's house. They know that Whitney's doing the show for Dancing with the Stars. They are very aware. But I like how Jen thinks that Whitney's going for it just because Jen always wanted it. She's like, she knew I always wanted Dancing with the Stars. And now she's like, "Oh, I want it too." I'm like, to be fair, Jen, I'm sure Whitney has always wanted Dancing with the Stars as well. Unless people know she hasn't. But like, she seems like someone who would want that. Uh, Taylor's like, we need a game plan, guys. We need a game plan because Whitney and Demi are going to be at a lot of events coming up. And then she volunteers to stand up to them and to basically be like the leader of Mom Talk. She doesn't really volunteer to be the leader. She volunteers to be like, I'll be the one to stand up to them. And then Jesse and Miranda are like, well, can you please be the leader? None of us like not having one. We need someone to follow. Please, God. Miranda's like, definitely, Taylor, you do it, please. You do it. And like, I love it too. I'm like, yes, I feel comfortable, even though I don't really know what it means that Taylor is the leader of Mom Talk, but I feel comfortable with her in that role as well. I don't really know why. But yeah, totally. She should be the leader of Mom Talk. Michaela goes to her first EMDR session, which I was surprised she filmed. Those are really intense. She keeps saying this though. She says she doesn't feel like she has a safe space to open up about her past sexual trauma in her marriage yet. Most likely it's a lot of shame, but it's just so clear to me and from her to everybody that until she's willing to tell him everything and face it herself, even, they're gonna have issues. But I think a big thing that comes up for her in therapy that I thought was pretty poignant is she said it's confusing to be taught that sex is bad through my religion, but then also being put in situations at such a young age that's going to fuck you up for sure. She hasn't told Jace everything. She's just been vague about it. But she also has a fear or a history even of not being believed when she's opened up about it. So then I'm like, oh, that's right. That because she told her mom and her mom didn't believe her. So lots of trauma, man. Lots of trauma. The therapist recommends couples sex therapy, but Michaela is like, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. But then she goes home and tells Jace about it, and he would love to try couples sex therapy. But Michaela is still not sure. I mean, what's so crazy to me is we're sitting here talking about this while she's pregnant. So they're clearly having some sex, you know? And also, like, what woman is all horny? Well, actually, I don't know. Some women are very horny when they're pregnant, I hear. I don't know. But, God, my throat hurts so bad today. Anyway, we're going to get more into that later in the season. Miranda hosts the big Mom Talk meeting where they're all going to chat with Whitney at Miranda's house. So they're all there. Whitney arrives and she sits down and Taylor has like a toothpick in her mouth. And Whitney's like, how are you guys? She's like, good. How are you? Layla is giving full stink eye. And Whitney in her confessional goes, I think they heard about Dancing with the Stars and they're like, oh, she's only back because she wants Dancing with the Stars. They're not wrong. They're right. So, but then Taylor's like ready to fucking fight. She's like, we're not going to have people coming and going. Why are you here? What do you want? Dancing with the Stars? Whitney's like, look, after that vote that you guys like half-ass voted me back into Mom Talk, I realized that this is strictly business here. I wanted to meet up with everyone, and Demi was the only one that wanted to meet up. And they're like, of course she did. Taylor goes, she's still your enemy. And if I had to pick someone, if it came down to it, you and Demi, I'd pick you all day because she's a snake. And then Layla's like, if you think that's a genuine friendship, Whitney goes, what has she done to you, Layla? And that's also a good question because, like, I don't know what she's done to Layla. Has she done anything to Layla? But anyway, Jen then brings up Park City. And I kind of have to agree with Whitney here because they bring up something that they had no problem with when it happened. But now they're bringing it up like, don't you remember how she treated you? And so when Whitney's confessional, I kind of agree with. Whitney goes, I did want genuine friendships and it just tears. She starts crying. And this was like acting. It was just like, oh, this is a performance. She's like, I'm exhausted. Sorry. But I think I was just so tired of trying to rebuild relationships that I cared about because, you know, friend breakups are even harder than boyfriend breakups and spousal breakups. But like, it was acting to me. Michaela goes, you still can't sit here and just take accountability and say, you're right, I'm here for this. Whitney goes, I know that's your favorite word, but yeah, I'm filming because I was offered the opportunity to audition for Dancing with the Stars. And I'm so excited for one of us to get it. And I'm not coming back for the sisterhood. Savage. And I know I've already talked about this a little bit, but just to repeat myself, I get that reality TV is reality TV and it's not real and we want to pretend it's real and like whatever, but it is a docu-follow show. Its format is not a competition reality show, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So I don't love that Whitney is willing to like abuse this one show with a whole different structure. Like you have to play the game then. Like if you're going to come back, like I want her to admit that she's back to be on the show and show her life. What are you there for if you're not there to show your life and you're not there to film with anybody? You know what I mean? So that's sort of why I think it's justice in a way for her to be voted off Dancing with the Stars because of this Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's like, yeah, you can't, it's just sort of, it's too opportunistic. It's too like greedy or something. And also that makes me really bummed that Whitney did get it. Like, and in the end, I'm like, damn it, I really wish Whitney hadn't got it. But they knew better. All right, so Jen goes, okay, then what are you going to do? You think you're going to film alone with none of us? And Whitney goes, well, I'm going to start my own mom talk. And hopefully find a space I feel welcome in. So when they say, by the way, when they say like film with none, they're talking about the show. So when Whitney says I'm going to start my own mom talk, it's like, so you're going to cast like a B cast for like you can go do whatever the hell you want online, but this is about the show that we're talking about here. So like, what do you mean you're going to start another mom talk? That's not how this works, But then Whitney just like stands up and walks out. And the camera follows her down the street to her car. And the way she's like walking up to her car was really, I don't know why. It was so funny to me. But then in her confessional, the last line of the episode is, I wasn't really sure what to expect when Miranda invited me over today, but I know two things for sure. One, I'm clearly not welcome in mom talk. And two, I'm going to get Dancing with the Stars. Oh, she's back. Look, she plays a villain really well. So she's doing it right because I find her to be horrible. I don't know if I like want more of her though. Like, how with most villains, you don't want them to go anywhere. But she's just not committing to the group. Like I said, I like to live in that delusion that this is about a group of friends and we're going to see them bonding a lot. Like they're all going to be there for each other. In episode 6 and 7, I was like, oh shit. Okay. They're going through a lot together. And while it might have been for the show, all of the shows I watch, reality TV wise, are about quote a group of friends. And as much as we know it's not really about that, that's part of the game, I guess, of reality TV is to like make us believe it is. Just at least try. But Whitney's like, I'm not trying. I'm just trying to get on Dancing with the Stars. And so then, I just think it's funny. Anyways. All right, so this is episode 5. That means that is the end of my coverage on the main feeds. So if you want to keep going on this journey with me, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives Season 3, then sign up for the Patreon or sign up for a YouTube VIP membership. And I love you. And that's it. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to She's Speaking with Emily Hanks. This show is produced, hosted, and edited by me, Emily, and brought to you in partnership with Cloud 10 Media. If you are looking for bonus content, check out the Patreon. The link is in the description. To show some support, you can hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Another free way to support the pod, please rate and/or review on whatever platform you listen. It's free, and it helps the algorithm or something. You could also head to buymeacoffee.com/shespeaks and buy me a coffee or two. Make sure you're following me on all social medias. I am She's Speaking with Emily Hanks across all platforms. Threads, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. That's it. Thank you guys. See you soon.